Hello everybody, this is Monty with Flowers by the Bunch. Today I wanted to make a fun Easter arrangement in this little Easter bunny container. So if you've watched my videos any amount of time, I love to go to thrift stores, I love to go to estate sales, all the things. I found this fun little bunny at an estate sale, and he has, where in his hands he's holding a little cabbage. Well, the cabbage you can add water to and make a pretty arrangement, so that's what we're going to do today. Now I have added just fresh water with a little bit of flower food to the container, but in order to give it a little bit of a grid, I thought we would use some florist mesh. Now you can use chicken wire if you want to. I purchased this little mesh from LO Florist Supply, and I'm just taking it, I just cut a small little piece, just a tiny piece. I am rolling it up and I'm taking it and tucking that end kind of down into the center. Now I'm just kind of making just a little egg or egg shape or a little wad basically, and I am going to tuck it right down into my container. Now let me say, you could tape a grid using just a clear florist tape if you wanted to. You can use a pin cushion frog as an armature, but I found that this little mesh works just wonderful. And what it's going to do is just hold all of my flowers in place. My reservoir isn't really deep, but it is deep enough to hold plenty of water. So the first flower I'm going to use is Snowball Viburnum. So I have a Snowball Viburnum bush blooming in my yard. Now let me tell you, it looks a whole lot like a hydrangea, but Snowball Viburnums they bloom early spring. So when you drive by this time of year and you see a large white bush blooming and it has these wonderful blooms, that is a viburnum. And it makes me so happy. When my Owen was about 3 years old, my mama had one of these Snowball Viburnums blooming in her yard. And Owen was outside and he was picking the snowballs and throwing them in the yard. My daddy came out and he said, "Boy, your nanny's gonna be so upset with you picking her flowers." And he said, "Papa, these are snowballs, aren't they?" And Daddy said, "Yes, sir." And he said, "You're supposed to throw snowballs." But I have loved this beautiful blooming bush. So I'm going to take it, and another thing about a Snowball Viburnum is you can see that the blooms just kind of bloom, they just kind of branch and bloom all the way down a limb. And it's a very woody stem. So I'm going to take, and because they're the stems are pretty short, I'm just going to use my snips and just cut a piece off, and I'm going to nestle it right down into that chicken wire. All right, there's our sweet little viburnum tucked in. Next we're going to come in with a couple of stems of green Hypericum berries. So Hypericum berries are also called coffee berries, and they come in lots of colors. These are green. I love that the green is such a neutral, very springy, very happy color. But they come in a peach and a pink and a red and a burgundy. But I just thought the green was so lovely. I'm going to take and cut that stem. If the greenery or the foliage left on the stem is not lovely, just pull that off, cut that stem, and just tuck that right down into that chicken wire. Sometimes you will find that the leaves don't always look pretty, so you can always pull back those leaves and just nestle those berries right down in. These do paint really well, so if you needed them to be another color, you can absolutely take some paint and just pop them with a different color. They do hold paint really well. And these are something that you can absolutely use just regular spray paint. You don't have to necessarily use a florist or a floral paint that's made specifically for flowers. It's not going to hurt the berries at all. So I nestled my berries right down into our arrangement. Next, I'm going to come in with some gorgeous ranunculus. So this week is prom here at Flowers by the Bunch. It's a prom week for one of our local high schools, so we ordered in a mixed box of ranunculus and scabiosa. So to me, a ranunculus might be one of my favorites. It's just such a lovely, lovely flower. It comes in lots of colors, and it looks almost like the ruffles. The petals look almost like the ruffles on a little girl's dress. Now I'm going to take that stem, I'm going to cut it at an angle, and we're just going to tuck some of these beautiful pink ranunculus right down into our arrangement. Again, this grid of chicken wire is just holding all of our flowers right in place. It's just making it where our little flowers will just kind of stand up. Another thing about this wire armature is that flowers are so much happier in fresh water than they are in floral foam. And so this wire armature is really acting just like floral foam. It's holding those flowers right into place. Oh, it's such a pretty flower. All right, next we're going to come in with some mini Gerbera daisies. And so these Gerberas have a straw, and that straw is to kind of help give the head of this flower some stability. Now you can leave that straw in place, you can pull it off, you can do really whatever you would like. I think that I am going to leave it in place. It's clear so you don't really see it. I'm going to cut that stem at an angle, and then I'm going to nestle those really pretty Gerbera daisies, and I have 3 of them, right down into our arrangement. Now this is one of those arrangements that you can just mix and match your flowers. There's really not a right or wrong way to make a pretty arrangement. I'm going to turn my little bunny around and look at the front really quickly. I'm going to trim down that stem. The beautiful part about these gerbs is they have kind of a pink, it's a peachy colored daisy, but they have kind of a little pink center, which I just think is so lovely and perfect with those little ranunculus. All right, next we are going to come in with some Rumex. Rumex is, it's almost just a seed. It's a lot like a millet. Just really, really pretty. Now, when I was a little girl, my grandmother called this rabbit's tobacco. It is a type of dock. But I'm going to take, and I cut it in half, and I'm just going to nestle that Rumex right down into that arrangement. Look at how pretty this green is with all of these pinks and peach colors. Now I do love the fact with greenery, stems of greens, you can always take your knife and cut it in half. Cut it into smaller pieces. You do not have to use an entire stem. You can cut it in smaller pieces and make it work throughout your arrangement. So I pulled my Gerber daisy out that was over here. I'm going to tuck him kind of right here in the top. There we go, and this is our finished arrangement. Now the flowers that we use include the snowball viburnum, the beautiful pink ranunculus, the Gerber daisies, and these are considered minis. So Gerber daisies come in different sizes. This is the mini version, which I really like in this arrangement because it doesn't take over the arrangement. And we use some green hypericum berries or coffee berries, and then to finish it off, we added a little bit of Rumex as our greenery / filler flower. Guys, thank you so much for being here. If you have any questions about how we do things here at Flowers by the Bunch, please don't hesitate to ask. We would love to answer your questions. Be sure, if you enjoyed this video, to hit that thumbs up. And if you have not already subscribed to our channel, be sure to hit the subscribe button right down below. Guys, I hope you have a great day, and we will see you soon.